Today's video is going to be a dark skin client makeup transformation. So I am doing a dark skin friendly makeup tutorial on my client. So as usual, I am going to be starting with our skin. I'm going to be prepping our skin. You all know a good makeup starts with a good skincare, and look at my client, she's looking all beautiful. So guys, I'm going to start with my micellar water. I'll cleanse our face really well to take off any build-up dirt on our skin, and I'm also going to be using a mirror prep and prime that is going to help our makeup from smearing, and if eventually she sweats, the sweat is not going to mix with makeup. So a lot of people get this confused. They think mirror prep and prime actually stop one from sweating. That's not true, guys. What mirror prep and prime does is, if you sweat, it's not going to let your sweat mix with your makeup. So once it dries off, your makeup will still remain intact. That's what that prep and prime does. And also, if you have oily skin, it also serves as a primer. So guys, after that, I'm going to be applying a primer specifically on her nose. That is for the purpose of keeping the product I'm going to be applying, which is the concealer, staying really well on her nose, because she has a line on her nose, like an hyperpigmentation line. If I should go ahead and use just foundation, it's going to be showing underneath the foundation. So I'm using like a strong primer to hold concealer onto it so it can stay well in place. And after that, I'm using a moisturizer, and I prepped her skin really well. Then afterwards, I went ahead to apply a foundation on her forehead at her brows side. The purpose of doing that is to make her brows clean, and when I'm going ahead to apply a foundation, I will not need to get close to her brows because I already laid a foundation there. Now I'm filling in her brows. I'm just going to go through with a brow shape. I'm not going to, go overboard with the brows. I'm just basically carving out. I'm basically drawing out a brow shape. Then I'll be using a pencil to just create little hair stroke in between our brows, just to fill it up a little bit. And afterwards, I will be cleaning up the brows. When I'm cleaning up the brows, I am using 2 shades of concealer. I'm using one that is 1 shade to 2 shade or 1.5 shade lighter than her skin color, and I'm using the second one, which is a little bit darker than her skin color, just to balance the brows. So guys, this part I am using the powder as a transition color. Then this one here, I am using an eyeshadow, and this eyeshadow is 2 shades deeper than her skin color. I'm using it with a pencil brush, and I'm placing it in the inner part of her eyes and the outer part of her eyes. Then I'll get a smaller brush, a fluffy small brush, to blend that together. The middle part of her eyes, I'm using I use the brush that I use in applying a primer to just blend out the creases on her lid. Then I'll be using a pink eyeshadow on it. So guys, I purposely did this. I purposely applied this color first because I needed to get a particular shade. So, but for me to get that shade, that color of eyeshadow, I would need to first of all go through this process. So after applying that pink, I went ahead to apply a primer. So the primer I placed on it is going to lighten up that pink eyeshadow. Then when I go ahead and place this one that I'm applying right now, it's going to give me that peachy nude color, and that is what I want for a lid. And it really looks pretty because she's one of the bridal train. There are actually 3 guys. She's the 3rd person that I'm working on. I think she's the 2nd person. So the next step is to draw a line. Because they are bridal train, I'm not going to be going overboard by extending the wing liner. I'm just going to make it minimal and just to tidy up her eyes basically. So guys, once that is done, I went ahead to put on her false eyelashes, then over to her skin. So I'm using 2 different shades of foundation. I'm using one that's close to her face, that one has warm undertone. Then the second one, which is going to be in the center part of her face, is the actual color she has on her chest. Because of the hyperpigmentation, so her face is darker than her body, but the color of her body is what I picked in foundation for her face. That's in the center part of her face. Then the outer part of her face, I'm using a warmer and a more darker foundation just to balance the skin. This part, what I'm doing is, and this is what I do to some of my clients, if I'm unable to get to the side of their nose, as close as possible to the side of the nose, I normally go over there with a precise brush and a foundation to get as close as possible to that part. I will leave it for some time, then I'll go ahead and blend it, because this part is where foundation or concealer usually build up. Any complexion based product, this is the part where it's usually build up, and this is the part where it gives off that full coverage cakey foundation look. So I'll always go ahead and move the nose side to the left, to the side, just to make sure I get as close as possible to the corners of the nose so I can blend it out. Then after using the beauty sponge, I'm still going back again to use a brush to further secure the blending, to make sure that everything is well blended out. Then going over to her under eyes, I'm using a concealer that is one shade lighter than her skin color on her chest. That's the color she has. The rest of her body is lighter than her face. So I'm going in with a concealer that is a little bit or one shade lighter than the color on her chest. But the undertone of it is perfect for her skin. This is for the purpose of concealing her under eyes. After placing the concealer down, I will leave it for some time to build up so it doesn't move. The excess of doing this is the concealer will not move. Also, it's going to give a full coverage look. Then when I'm done with that, I will be going ahead to use a brightening concealer. This one is what I will use to bring out her features, bring her under eyes forward, to bring the bridge of her nose forward, her chin, her forehead. So this is what I'm going to be using as a brightening concealer, while the first one is going to be a concealing concealer because of our under eyes. Twist my fingers up on a bang on him. Lele oh, yeah. Tobalo ko macho, yeah. Tobalo mako macho, yeah. Nobody know tomorrow. Choro. The next part is I'm going to be applying a blusher, a cream blush. Can you see how that looks really, really beautiful? And I'll be going ahead to use a compact powder under her eyes. So what I usually do is, before setting the under eye concealer, I normally go ahead with a compact powder first. Then on top of that, I will place a setting powder, because compact powder will not really hold the under eye to stay in place for a long time. So that's the job of a setting powder. But going with a compact powder first and then going over it with a setting powder gives a very flawless look. So guys, afterwards I am using a creamy glow, which is an highlighter, but in color that suits our skin. I'm using that from that same palette, CPD palette. Then from that same palette, I'm choosing a darker blusher. This is very dark, to contour her face, just to bring out a cheekbone. And this part I am using a black pencil. This pencil is from Paula Beauty. It's super dark, it's creamy, it doesn't smear, it locks up immediately you apply it. You can see how that looks really, really beautiful on her, guys. So guys, and that is the finished look for this dark skin makeup friendly. You can see how her skin looks really, really beautiful, and she she looks super amazing. What do you guys think about this look in the comment section? Let me know, guys. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to leave a comment, and let me know what you think. Bye, guys.